Rooskies, friends, and homies, what is up? My name is Walter Rooski, and I am ridiculously excited about this particular video because last time I listened to Ren X Chinchilla, I was friggin' moved to the point of tears. I almost cried on the reaction and really had to kind of square myself up at the end of it all. I was blown away at the chemistry between Ren and Chinchilla, and we've already identified that she is the best chinchilla. So what we are going to do is we are going to react to How to Be Me live and the lyric video, just so I have a point of reference. I'm unbelievably excited about this particular one. More importantly, I'm really excited about just seeing the live chemistry. So many of you guys told me that the live one was without question the way to go, so I'm going to get started on that. But before I do, I just need you guys to know that I am abundantly grateful that you guys think I'm worth your time. If you are not subscribed, feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button if you feel so inclined at the end of this. And if so, welcome to the Rooskies. Guys, if you happen to see that we have new subs, make sure that they feel welcome in the comments. Make sure you leave in the comments what else of Ren's I should be reacting to, and stay tuned because I also anticipate doing some chinchilla reactions because I'm just moved by this gal's pipes. I mean, I really think she is a fantastic musician, and I'm excited to hear her sing. Without further ado, though, let's get this thing started. Can't wait. I would not get in a fist fight with Chinchilla or anybody. Oh my God. They're like a less country British civil wars.
I don't feel safe in this bed. There are voices in my head.
Oh.
I've been talking to the dead, and the fear baptized me. My kingdom turned to dust, and I watched all my riches rust. Have I lost the Midas touch? Or do
wow.
eyes blind?
Have I lost the Midas touch, where everything you touch turns to gold? Wow.
Riches rust. Have I lost the Midas touch?
Wow.
Or do sad eyes blind me? Over and over we go, over the hills and the valleys below. Oh, and it follows me home, and it suffocates.
Oh. Wow.
No, I can't breathe. I said, oh, I can't breathe. All I know.
She's getting this so hard, and this is kind of the opposite of what they were doing in chalk outlines, right? Like, she's going with the high-pitched, more conventional, but like the way they're doing this is just so dynamic. Like, this lady is a virtuoso of harmony and melody. I am amazed. Like, my hands up too.
I forgot how to be me.
You hear the reverb in their...
I don't feel safe in these halls. There are bruises on the walls. There
Whoa.
are bodies in the floors, and they breathe so loudly.
This particular lyric really kind of hits me, and he says that there are bruises on the walls and bodies in the floor. When I was a younger guy, my roommate tried to take his own life, and I found him on the floor in the bathroom, and there was blood in the toilet, and he was just comatose, and I freaked out. I'd never seen a scene like this. I think I was like 24, and I got him and I rushed him to the hospital. Thankfully, we lived really close, and I can remember that being one of the heaviest days of my entire life, and thinking I was gonna like lose my best friend because of all of this. And he ended up going and getting treatment, and there was something so eerie about that apartment afterwards. And there were 2 bathrooms in the apartment, and I could never bring myself to really address that front bathroom. And very similarly, it was like there were bruises on the walls, and I can remember seeing, like, just even in my own brain, him laying there, like his feet. And I kept that bathroom door shut until I like had to clean it, and I moved out of that apartment, and I broke down having to clean that bathroom. And the concept of like homes and buildings and having energy to them, I think, is very, very true.
There are bodies in the floors, and they breathe so loudly. I wish I could move, get up and walk right out this tomb.
Oh my God.
Do our saviors die too soon? For my sins surround me. Over and over we go, over the hills and the valleys below. Oh, and it follows.
They're singing it around. This is maybe one of the most beautiful rounds I've ever heard. Like, this isn't like a London Bridges kind of round. This is
over and over we go, over the hills and the valleys below. Oh, and it follows me, and it suffocates me. I can't breathe. I said, oh, I can't breathe. Yes, I forgot how to be me. Hallelujah. Where is my God? Where are you? Hallelujah. Nothing is pulling me through. Hallelujah. When I don't know how to be. Hallelujah. I forgot how to be me. When he gave up the fight, a quick decision late in the night that stayed with me for all of my life. I miss you so.
Every Wednesday was my day off, and every Wednesday I was reminded that I was alone. Samson had to work, and I would just sit alone in the red room. Sometimes I'd play guitar and write songs or poetry about the grief I was dealing with. Other times I'd just lay and stare and consider what my life had become in this realm of existence. Wednesdays became my personal hell, and they really foreshadowed the life I was going to be living in just a couple of months' time. It was on a particularly grim Wednesday that I decided I was done. Samson purchased a new gun and left it in its holster on the kitchen table a few weeks after my trip. I walked downstairs to let my dog out and decided it was time to end it all when I saw the gun. It was a simple enough plan. I let Clark out as if it were the last time I'd see him. We took a long and adventurous walk, and things seemed peaceful, having decided what the next move was going to be. After a long walk and some cuddles, I grabbed the gun and walked into the red room, shutting the door behind me. I sat on the bed and considered where to pull the trigger. Then it occurred to me that I hadn't written a letter. Ian Curtis of Joy Division left a suicide note that always resounded with me, scary as that is to say now. 2 simple sentences. That's all it took to understand why he did it. At this very moment, I wish I were dead. I just can't cope anymore. I understood. I felt that way, no need to expound upon it anymore. I thought, at least for those that would mourn me, perhaps less was more. I'd keep it short. For once, I don't have the words. I just can't do this anymore. This is nobody's fault but my own. I know that people love me, but the problem is I don't love me. Those words are tattooed on my fucking brain. They came very naturally to me, and I knew it was enough of an explanation. Now it was time to do what I'd planned to do. I looked around the red room, and I didn't want to make a mess in Samson's home after he'd been so wonderful to me. So I started looking for a place that wasn't going to make a mess. In retrospect, it's obvious that it would have been messy anywhere I chose to shoot myself. I stepped into the bathroom and into the tub and sat down with my back against the back of the tub and my feet extended. I stared at the gun in my hands and heard Clark whining outside the door. It was time. I removed the gun from the holster and began to consider where the best point of entry would be for the bullet to get the job done. It was at that time that Clark went from whining to panicking outside the door. This was unusual because he'd usually sit quietly while I was in the restroom. Even my dog knew something was off. The louder Clark got, the more I imagined how long it would take for Samson to get home. Surely between a gunshot and a crying dog, he'd be made aware to go home before his shift ended. And it was in considering Samson's reaction to finding me, his need to clean no matter where the blood fell, and the fact that he'd be left with my dog, who couldn't understand what was happening, that I started guiding myself back to reason. I was in an internal fistfight, and I'd brought a fucking gun. When I finally made the decision not to pull the trigger or rid myself in any form or fashion, I began crying hysterically. I hated myself. I hated what my life had become. I hated waking up. I even hated existing. In all of this internal commotion, though, one thing was clear. I could no longer say I hated living. If I didn't do something to make things better for myself, I knew things would have continued in the same cycle of self-hatred and depression. I didn't want to feel bad anymore. I didn't want to kill myself, apparently. Where did that leave me? In the tub. It was time I decided to be more than a miserable guy with a gun wearing his fucking clothes in the bathtub. May you find hope within yourself, and may you realize that you had strength the entire time. I love you guys.